Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. I guess it's more of an afternoon than anything else. How are you all doing today? Want to open it up in case anybody has any questions about anything so far. We've covered the buyers and the sellers most recently. Have you guys had anything come up out in the real world based on some of the stuff that we talked about, where to find those listings, how to get the buyers to sign that buyer agency, any of that stuff come up that you got stumped with or need a refresher on? All right, nothing. All right, you guys ready to get into today then? Have you printed out your Spark 9 handout? Did you go through that information? One of the things I strongly suggest is to print that out every week and go through it before our call starts so that when you come in to the call, you have gone through the material. It helps you hear things that you might pick up on that you can actually use, take with you back out to the marketplace, all that fun stuff. I'm trying to move my windows around here so I can make sure I see you guys. All right, give me a thumbs up if you can see our screen share for today. You guys good on that? All right, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Yes, good. All right, cool. Well, these sessions, they are power packed with stuff that I want you to hear as we go through this. And the more and more you go back through this Ignite and you hear this over and over again, I'm seriously just shortcutting you 20 years of real estate, and hearing it a few times in a year will give you a 5-10 year head start from where at least I had to start out to figure a lot of this stuff out. So that's one thing I love about being able to share this with you guys, is to help you take that shortcut, help you see some things through my eyes that have that 30 years experience and 2,500 sales, so that you guys can bring this back to your business and actually use everything. All right, so we're going to jump in. You guys can feel free to unmute, raise your hand. I should see it flash across my screen if you'd like to jump in and add anything. Otherwise, we got some really, really cool stuff in here. So I want to get into that right away. So we are at the halfway point. This is the Spark 9 session, and this is focused on the growing the business part. The next 9 sessions are like the hands-on how to run the business through some of those things, getting into numbers and listing presentations and all that kind of stuff. So this one, we still are on growing your business, and really it's the day in the life of a real estate agent, or a successful real estate agent, and just what they do every day. So this is going to be a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a whole bunch. So get your piece of paper ready. Hopefully have your manual printed out. You can take notes. Our roadmap for today, I've got some good notes here that I want to talk about. This is, we're going to talk a little bit about setting weekly and daily objectives. We're going to talk about creating accountability for yourself. In fact, guys, a lot of the systems that I put in place in my business is another way to look at it is I'm gamifying my business to hold me accountable. I'm creating systems to hold me accountable to certain things every day or every week, and to track everything and to run my business. And I think I said this in one previous session, after writing E-Myth Real Estate Agent with Michael Gerber, writing that book and documenting a lot, just talking a lot about the systems that I put in my business. The systems, you are separate from your business. You are you, and your business is your business. And many times you're running this business and you think you're a real estate agent and you're the realtor and people do business with you, but you want to separate you from your business and create a system that runs your business. There's a lot of that you're going to do naturally. And if you're an individual agent, you don't have a big team or anything, whether you're going to do that or not, when you're running everything, you still want to create a system that's running the business. And even though you may do a ton of it naturally, and you just do it because you just do it because you're doing it, right? You want the system to tell you that it was supposed to be done. And honestly, there's half a dozen things that show up on my system every single day that need to be done that I just mark them done because I've already done them. However, knowing that they're there as the team has expanded and contracted and gone back and forth, somebody else might be picking up pieces of that. And even though I still have an assistant right now that does some stuff, I still knock some things off her list that she never even sees. Just because it takes me a second to do it, it's right there in front of me in the system. So I just knock it off and get it done. And so we work as a team, and she's still got plenty to work on, but I don't need to just keep piling her plate with more stuff than she can handle. If I can do it in 2 minutes or less, I just do it. So the other thing is, building the successful habits of what we do every day, building the database and the lead generation, or what I like to call is just database relationship cultivation, because that will actually make your phone ring. So you don't have to actually call out and lead generate every day. You can turn your business into a lead receiving business. And it's mostly going to start with 5 a day. 5 people a day, guys. Just connect with 5 people a day. I've already had this conversation with 3 coaching clients today, that if everyone you talked to this last week, everyone that you connected with last week, did you send out every single person a handwritten note? I mean, it kind of starts with the daily habits, right? Connect with people. And if you connect, write them a note, put them in the database with their address so you can mail the note, and then get them on a smart plan. And I'm telling you, if you do that every single day, it is the only way I know to get you to 100 sales a year. And you can't get to 100 sales a year until you do 50 sales a year. And you can't get 50 sales a year until you do 25 sales a year. So to get to 25 sales, it is 5 a day, every day, 5 days a week. Make that your commitment, no matter what. That's the one thing. If you do that, I promise you, you will double or triple your business, even if you don't do anything else other than feed the people in, write the notes, and stay connected with them somehow, some way. Even if you don't get the right smart plan started, if you just write the note and drop the ball after that, you will double your business with connections and notes every single day. It's the one thing. There's no way around that one thing. It's the 4 laws of lead generation. Build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it systematically. Those 2 things are where most agents skip, and they just get a database and then they keep track of all their past clients and people they've done business with, and they skip the feed it every day, communicate with it systematically, persistently, consistently, all the time, put it on a machine. So that's the biggest thing I hope you'll take away from today. How many notes did you write last week, right? So people do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. Again, it's kind of like separating you from your business, doing all that lead generation activity. What is the system in place to make sure you are keeping in touch with every single person in your database, that they are getting something about you, something about your branding, something in there? And then the overview, this is kind of the things that we'll talk about, just what a schedule looks like for a top producing agent. What are the things that you do every single day, right? Motivation, time building, daily success habits. Oh, what? We get lunch? Do you guys get lunch? I didn't know we actually got to eat as real estate agents. I thought that was only on Tuesday when you went and toured properties. Wow, we get lunch. Okay, that's what successful agents do, right? Run your business activities, grow your business activities, review the calendar, and then family time. Okay, so look at these 2 that are on the screen right now. The run the business activities and the grow the business activities, 12:30 to 2:30 and 2:30 to 4:30. Guys, when you create these systems and you, like, in the morning, you go in, you feed your people in that you met yesterday and you write your notes, or you did it before you left for the day, and then you come in, this is what my day kind of looks like. Now, my 12:30 to 2:30 is more like in the morning before, the workout and before the sun comes up. I'm an early riser. I knock my list out. I go to my task list and I do all my business activities that are spitting out, meaning we have a contract to close, process running on a couple contracts right now. And whatever needs to be done for the day that I can do, I do. Whatever I can't do right then in 2 minutes or less that has my assistant's name on it, it's sitting right there for her to do. She's going in and knocking those things off. And how do I know they got done? I go to the task list in the database and it's gone. So that it gets knocked off when it's done, and it's there until it gets done. But here's the important part, that 2:30 to 4:30 to grow the business activities. We just gone through this whole ignite, grow part of your business. 5 a day, that kind of stuff. If you systematize and timeline your activities, your contract to close, or from the time you list a house until it goes under contract, if you timeline and systematize those things, it frees your mind up to where this grow the business activities is really just go out and live life. I mean, you're bumping into people every single day. Every single person moves every 5 to 10 years. So it's just your daily life can drive business. And or you can be very on purpose about if you're targeting for sale by owners or expireds or any of that kind of stuff, you're doing that in the afternoon as well. So yes, we have our lead gen time from 9 to 11, right? But that is your lead generation where you're just doing your new calls. You got your call list. The grow your business is looking for the actual business and doing things. We already know what the percentage of conversion rate is on just lead generating and calling strangers, looking for that next piece of business. But when you're going out and growing it, you're actually following up with the for sale by owner that you met a week ago, or you're popping by their house and dropping something off. You're looking for activities, getting on Facebook and seeing people talk about moving. You're very on purpose, right? And if you do have some distractions of regular life stuff, and you operate from every single person I meet from this day forward goes into my database and gets a note from me, then you're growing your business every single day, even if it is taking care of a sick child and going sitting in the hospital or whatever it might be. Your awareness level is at a whole new level. And I kind of keep saying this over and over and over again because like my friend Scott on the call, sometimes it takes hearing it 2 or 3 or 4 times, and it really just like, boom, one time it just hits. See if there's anything, don't see any hands up or anything. If you guys have any questions, I just want to see if there's any notes. I took a lot of notes here. Let's see. So successful agents take time every day for the activities that you've been doing during the daily success habits. You never stop lead generating or capturing those relationships. You never stop follow up and follow through. So are you going to be on purpose and follow up on purpose with people, or are they just going in your database and you're forgetting about them? The other thing is, what motivates you to get out and look at your goals every single day? Do you jump out of bed now and get excited about feeding those 5 people in? Running the business activities include marketing seller listings, showing buyers houses, negotiating contracts, transaction management, vendor management. Vendor management, guys, this is just a whole nother, like, I want to give you another look at vendor management. Having a list of a roofer, a carpet installer, a handyman, insurance person, for auto and home, a mortgage person, having that list of one awesome person and maybe 1 or 2 other really, really good people is like part of growing your business, and it's part of maintaining that business when you get it going so that you can have everything run smoother. So if you're not on appointments every single day all day long, and there's a network group, it might be a good thing to invest in. You need to look at that and see who's in the group. There's a lot of network groups that are a waste of time, so make sure the structure looks good and things like that. But who are you doing business with? Who do your clients do business with? Okay, listen to this. Part of your follow-up calls when you're working on your relationships, the consistent, persistent follow-up. One of your follow-up calls to your database that's not about buying or selling real estate when 98% of them aren't moving is for vendor management. To ask them, hey, today's call is about business. Do you have a couple minutes to give me some help? And when they say yes, just say, today I'm working on, this week I'm working on getting just a list of the most masterful roofers in the area. So I was just asking people if there's any either roofers that you've used in the past that you just can't live without. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being total waste of time, ripped me off, versus 10, I would never do a roof without them. Where is this person? If they gave you a name. So just maybe even the conversation around what are some things that you've had done in your house this last couple weeks that you had great service on. Or, it could even be a dentist or a doctor or anything local, tires for their car. Guys, we sell lifestyle in the community that we live in. So all of those people become a resource or an allied resource for you. That can be the topic of your conversation. It's like, hey, we're just looking for great businesses in the community where we all live. Have you done business with anybody lately that just did an awesome job? Nobody's asked them that question. In fact, most people will tell everybody about how bad an experience was. Very few people actually spread the experience when they have a good experience, right? So just going through that call, setting goals, compliance and risk management, those are all your contract stuff that if you have that systematized to say, like I have a tag that pulls up, says, is the compliance checklist been received from the office? That happens 1 week before closing, so that if we need missing signatures for something, there's a to-do sitting in there that says, have we gotten the compliance checklist back approved? And if not, then if it's not there and I can't find it anywhere, then I'm sending a quick email to go, hey, how are we on this file? And the office is letting us know, oh, here's what you're missing. So we have a week to grab all that stuff before closing to make sure we get paid right when it closes. Just little things that are built into the system. Attending training, getting coaching, and managing your money. So be the connector in your database. Have those people help you build your list of affiliates and people so that you are the go-to person for anything. That I get to fortunately be that person in my community where everybody calls me before they do something just to see if I know somebody in this field. It's even better when it's past clients that are calling you regularly. Now, past clients are calling me regularly because 1 or 2 of the pieces they get throughout the year are our app has our list of our affiliates in there. I forget what it's called, Homekeeper or something like that, that we have current list of people on Homekeeper, and it's spelled weird too. It's like Keepr. So Homekeeper, Keepr, was an app that Keller Williams had partnered with somebody on, and I just filled it up with the people that I had, and I had people add themselves to it as well that were in my network groups that had good reviews. We're doing that right now in my network group that I go to on Thursdays. We're doing third-party endorsement videos for each other in the session and posting those on social media. So anyway, it's just about being a part of the community and being that connector. Any questions about anything there? Did I trigger anything that has a question rolling around in your head?
Brad, the calls, right? The kind of connection you to a contractor or this sort of thing. Those are great. That's for your sphere or for people that you know already. And it's another reason to talk to them without saying, hey, give me some real estate business. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And it's like, and they're helping you out, right? So people love helping people they know, like, and trust. Guys, remember, 98% of the people are not selling. So as you keep working that through your neuron and you realize that everybody's moving, but not everybody's moving right now, you're going to make more calls and make better connections when you don't feel like it has to be a lead generation call. Now, you do take that hat off, and when you're calling for sale by owners and expireds, and you really do put your sales hat back on with your script book, and you're looking for the next piece of business. The only thing that's different now is the 8 people that you would have normally not done anything with to get the 1 or 2 that might meet with you, is the other 8 people. If you connected with them, you're writing them a note and adding them to the database, and you're going to get their business. Even if they sold their house or did whatever, they're moving again in 5 to 10 years. So if you connect with them and if you write the note and then you put them on a 10-year follow-up or an 8x8 or a 33 touch, in 5 years from now, Do you know that people don't remember their realtor most of the time, who they last bought their house with? That they'll probably think you sold them the house because you're just doing that every day. But yes, it is just have a reason to connect with people, and then real estate will follow. I'm telling you that if you can get that ingrained in your head, that anytime you get somebody that's not hanging up on you, this is a new 8x8 33 touches, part of your everyday. Feed it every day, every day, every day, every day. And if you feed more than 5, you're just going to get to the sales I talk about a lot faster. You're going to get to 25, 50, and 100 way faster. If you do less than that, you're not going to get there as fast. You know, you might get to 25. Might take you a year to get to 25 consistent sales, or a year to get to 50 consistent sales. So it just takes longer the less you do. And then, like I said, you will double your business just by adding them, connecting, adding them, writing the note. If you forget the rest of it and don't put them on a follow-up plan, you'll still double your business just by writing the note. It's magical. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's the human nature thing, that you're writing a note and it makes you feel good, that they think about you just a little bit longer than if you just hung up the phone 3 days ago before they got the note. All right, so on setting weekly and daily objectives, guys, best tool ever. Now, we've covered this in one of our sessions, this 411. It's your year goal, your monthly goal, and then your weekly goals. And like I said before, make 50 copies of this, because apparently we are supposed to take 2 weeks off a year, right? Maybe more, but make 50 copies of this, or 52 copies for every week. You're going to take 4 copies for each month and you're going to write your annual goal actually on one piece of paper, copy it 52 times, because that's going to give you your annual goal on every weekly sheet. You're going to use an individual sheet for each week. Then you're going to take 4 of those off and write your monthly goal and write that on each of the 4 pages. And then you're going to start with week 1 for October's first week. What activities this week will lead to that monthly goal? Because if in 4 weeks we do exactly what needs to be done to hit whatever that is, and you want it to be SMART goals, they're like specific, measurable, right? That you can track all of it. You want them to be SMART goals that you can track. How many listings do you want to sell this month? 3. Okay, so I need to go on at least a listing appointment every week if I'm going to get 3 listings on the market. I got to go on 1 every week minimum. I might have to go on 2 every week to get 3 listings a month. 3 listings a month will be 30 to 40 sales, will be about 40 sales a year, right? So if my goal for the year is 40 sales, I need 3 of them this month, and I need a listing appointment every single day, or I'm not going to get my 3 listings. It's pretty plain. I mean, that is about as accountable as it can get. And when you run your 411 like that, you'll be able to start tracking things like, if the first week comes by and you don't get an appointment, well, now you can figure out, okay, I didn't get an appointment this week. How many actual calls, how many people did I get on the phone? Right? So if you start tracking that and you realize that for every 20 people on the phone, you get 1 appointment. Well, now you have to track to make sure you get 20 people on the phone. If you don't get 20 people on the phone, how many numbers do you have to dial to get 20 people on the phone? So then, you know, every single week you need that list of that many numbers, or you're not going to get your 1 listing appointment. It is a massive, massive numbers game. It will always be a numbers game. And anytime you have these statistics and you're tracking your numbers, how well you convert with those numbers, you can hit your goals every single time, right? So you're going to have your off week once or twice here and there, but just know that 411, man, if you haven't done it yet, just Google 411 Keller Williams, find that page, print off 52 copies for the next 12 months, or print off, 12 copies right now, and set your goal for what the end of the year really needs to be. Divide that by 3. You got October, November, December, and now we're really about halfway through October. So you're either going to catch up the next couple of weeks now while you can, because November and December, remember, we're going to lose a week. Actually, we lose a good solid week in December between Christmas and New Year's, right? Now that is like that's when I use that time to clean up my database, to go through my database from A to Z and make sure everybody's on a plan. Believe it or not, I do my database every single day. Yet that week between Christmas and New Year's, man, there's people that have dropped off plans and somehow they're not started on a plan again. Or I notice that somebody has passed away recently and the mail, is going out with that name on it if I don't see the envelope. So the more automatic your stuff is, the more mistakes you're going to have sitting in there. And so instead of being fearful of sending out something with a deceased person's name on it, we just don't send anything out. And that's not going to help your business grow. In fact, I love when I find mistakes, because then it helps me figure out why we had that one still floating in there and why did we miss it? Because then I can create another, plug the hole a little further in that system to make sure we catch that right away. But you're not going to catch everything. There's too many things in there, too many people in there. It's all relationships. I don't have 5,000 or 6,000 best friends, but I do have 5,000 to 6,000 people that think about me every so often because they pop up on my thing and they either get something in the mail or they get a message from me or we talk on the phone or they get a social media post. So I've got 5,000 to 6,000 people out there thinking of me every day. Well, not every day. They think of me often, but maybe not every day. The longer they're in that system and the more touches I make, the more they think about me every day. And they know, hey, you need to call Brad if you have a real estate question. All right. So the 80-20 rule. All right. So the 80-20 principle, I mean, this, again, we talk about this a lot in the company, but I also got to remember that not everybody hears it as much as I've heard it. I live by this 80-20 rule, and it is literally that 20% of what you do, 20% of your effort generates 80% of your results. But I like to say it this way. Listen to this. 20% of what you did yesterday is generating 80% of the money you're making now, today, and in the future, right? So 20% of what you did yesterday is generating 80% of your income. So really simply put, if you want to make more money or get more time or do any of that kind of stuff, then you just have to figure out what the 20% was that you did yesterday that generated 80% of that income or gave you 80% of your time. And you just have to do it a little more. 20% is 20% of our day. If you doubled that activity, that's 40% of your day, right? So if it's a 10-hour workday, if you're saying I'm working 10 hours a day, then 4 hours should be on that 20% activity. That 20% activity is what is bringing new business into your business. And we talked about the calendar exercise. I believe we've talked about that somewhere in here, where you can set a timer on your watch. Set a timer on your watch or your phone or whatever for every 30 minutes, have this thing go off. Now, what you want to do is carry around like a week at a glance calendar. You can get them from title companies. You can go to the office supply store, where you open it up and it shows you 7, 7:30, 8, 8:39, 9:30, and it shows you the week at a glance. Guys, if you would carry this book around with you for 2 weeks, have your timer go off every 30 minutes, open the book up, write down what you're doing. Just make this commitment for a 2-week period. Just write everything down, 2 weeks. Don't worry about anything else other than just writing it down. That in itself is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done in your life. When you get done at the end of the 2 weeks and you've really filled in as much as you can every half hour what you were doing. If you're eating a donut, write down you're eating a donut, right? Whatever it is you're doing. If you're making calls to for sale by owners, write that down. Then what you do is come back into that calendar at the end of 2 weeks. And the reason why I say 2 weeks is it gives you a good, you can't like blame whatever's in there on just an off weird week. I was in a 3-day business planning clinic or whatever it might have been. I was out of the office for 3 days. If you do it for 2 weeks, you got a pretty good sampling of where your time is going every day. And then you highlight with a green highlighter anything that's money, like new business coming into your business. You highlight anything in orange that is like your personal stuff that you have to be there. It's a soccer game for your kids, or you promise to be home for dinner every night from 8 to or 7 to 8 or whatever it might be. If it's you that you can't give that to somebody else, it's you that you need to be there for something, highlight that in orange. The rest of the stuff is actually yellow. If it's not bringing in new dollars, and it's not personal stuff or physical things that you have to be at and be committed to, the rest of that stuff is yellow. Doesn't mean that you're not going to do them or you haven't done them because you just tracked yourself doing it for 2 weeks. The yellow means it's probably something that somebody else could do at some point. And you need to be cautious or yellow that these are things that are not 20% activities because they're not bringing in new money, new dollars. So if that's the case, then you know that will, the green will show you your 20% that's generating 80% of your results. And the yellow is the 80% of what you did yesterday that only generated 20% of your results, or 80% of what you did yesterday generated 20% of the money you have in your bank account right now. 20%, but 80% of that that what you did yesterday is responsible for that. So if you want to bump that up, get that 20% stuff to 40% of your day, get your 80% stuff down to 60% of your day. And when you start making more money, then you can leverage yourself and actually hire an assistant now because you made more money. Now you can hire an assistant to take those yellow things off your plate and they can do them, which then is going to open up a bunch of white space on your calendar to fill in with more 20% stuff. That's how you go through the process and grow your business. Anybody have anything they want to add, comments, anything you've experienced or have questions about or could share with anyone else on this topic? All right. Is this good stuff? Are you all right? It's good to hear it again, isn't it? I mean, so important, so important. All right, so setting your objectives, translating your weekly goals into daily objectives. They talk about identifiable, metric-driven, attainable, purposeful, and timely. Honestly, the purposeful part is really your alignment with your weekly, monthly, and annual goals. It's the 411. I mean, I cannot hammer that enough. The 411 is probably the most amazing tool available to every Keller Williams agent, and yet not very many people use it, right? Not very many people use it at all. But identifiable, what's in your goal? Metric driven is how you'll measure your progress towards that attainment of each goal. Attainable is, do you have the correct systems and tools in place to help you be successful? You got the purpose, which is your alignment. And the timely is, when will your goal be accomplished? And that's through the 411. So if you haven't done it yet, if you've been through this class a couple times and you really don't have a 411 sitting in front of you yet, I would challenge you today to just circle that. If you have a copy laying around, pin it up on the wall in front of your desk and say, do this. And watch what happens between now and the end of the year. If you even set it up for just these next couple, 2.5 months, because if you don't, I'm telling you, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, it's the most holidays that we have. Oh, and Halloween. I mean, how do we forget that? It's my favorite holiday of the year. I actually have several Saturdays and a couple Fridays blocked out this month because we have an outdoor haunted house in our front yard. And guess what? Somebody has to run the haunted house. So I have to be very on purpose during the week to get things done so I can play haunted house on the weekends. And everybody in our neighborhood loves this thing. I already got chewed out last weekend because somebody's like, oh, somebody was talking about this great haunted house. And I was like, oh, I'll show you one. And I went by your house and there's nothing up. I got in trouble for not having it up last weekend because our neighbors are looking for it. So that's just fun stuff, man. That's just living life and having fun. So those 411s keep you on track. They actually, guys, really, the 411 is going to push you through your goals faster because you're looking at them every single week. And like on that weekly sheet, let me find my sheet here again. I do want to explain one more thing to make sure everybody's using this properly. That one page is just this week's goals. You don't fill in this week and then next week you fill it in on the same sheet and next week on the same sheet. You're looking at 1 week at a time. It's a 4-1-1. So this week's, like right now, we're entering into the 3rd week of the month. So this is the only column I would have filled out. This would be the same from the other 2 sheets and the next coming sheet. I'm only going to fill in here this week what I need to look at and do, and this is my focus. And when this week's over, I'm going to take what didn't get done, put it on this week, plus what needs to happen this week to hit that goal. And I'm only looking at that 1 week at a time. So you can see real quickly that by the time you spill over from this week and then spillover from this week into that week, plus your week stuff on top, pretty soon you're just like, that's never going to happen. Okay, that's fine. As a coach, I would say, so then what's not going to happen up here? Because when that doesn't happen here, this isn't happening up here. So if one of those things is to pay off a $2,400 credit card and you wanted to get it paid off, $2,400 divided by 12 is $200 a month. $200 a month is 50, 50, 50, 50, right? So if I put $50 towards that credit card this week, $50 the next week, it's going to be paid off at the end of 12 months. But if I don't have $50 this week, then I have to put 100 next week. So next week rolls around. If I don't have 100 next week, I have to do 150. Well, now you're right back to the problem again. It's like, crud, where am I going to get $200? So are you doing the right activities to get through all that stuff? So hopefully I've pounded that in, that the 411 is absolutely amazing. All right, time blocking, put your big rocks in your calendar. I mean, again, the most important thing is tracking your 20%. If you do the calendar tracking, you can really get a realistic look on where your time is really spent every day. And are you really focused on the right activities? Because we can be busy in real estate. We can write awesome ads. We can come up with great headlines. We can find a new group of people to target and list to find listings and all that stuff, a new list of FSBOs. Or last week, we kind of talked about, finding buyers within a 5-mile radius of where they currently live that buy 50% above where they currently are. You could actually target and find your buyers. However, you can spend your whole day researching on fastpeoplesearch.com and MLS and finding all these people. But if you're not picking up the phone and calling them and telling them about a new listing that's within 5 miles and is 50% above where they currently live, you're not going to get any sales. You're not going to get any buyer agency signed. So when you time block, it is important, but you put your big stuff in first. And we always say, family stuff first, your family vacations, things like that, you get on your calendar first. That's the orange stuff, by the way, right? So now you're working reverse and you're filling in your calendar up front on the things that you need to be where you need to be. This might be kind of scary, but I'm going to show you anyway because it's real world. I'll show you my calendar this week. Oh, I got to move my box around because it leaves that on top. Let's see. All right. I'm going to show you what my calendar looks like this week. So do you see all those boxes? That's there. Do you see how much white space there actually is? This is 5 a.m. and this is 9 p.m. So you can see how much white space I have in a couple of these little spots. That's what my day looks like. And doesn't stress me out at all. Doesn't make me nervous at all. That's where I have to physically be. And you're looking at the different colors. So the red on there is actually my orange. The purple stuff is my commitment for like training and coaching. Maps is purple. So that's real easy to put on there. And then the red stuff is where I have to actually be. And if you saw a couple green spots on there, those are listing appointments or buyer showings that are bringing in new money. So there's not very much green on that calendar this week. That makes me aware that next week I better get a lot more green on my calendar. Otherwise, something will eventually catch up to me. And all of a sudden, I won't be doing 100 sales a year. So it's like every single week that's in front of me. All right. How many of you just had a heart attack when you saw my calendar? Right. If there is no way my brain could be calm if I didn't have that all down and know what's coming next, when I need to be there, where I'm going, all that stuff. But it's peaceful, you know, because that is my system and I use it. And it used to be all paper. So I've recently been able to convert over to the Google Calendar, which has been nice. But what does your perfect day look like? You guys can set those perfect day calendars up. And then what you do is have that hanging up, and then you look at your real calendar and see if it matches what you're saying the perfect day is. And if you have it in front of you all the time, then you're going to get closer to having one of those perfect days by matching your calendar up every single week. Do not let life run you. Do not let the business run you. If it is, and you see that, then that just says, I need a system, or I need a way to process this, or I need a way to get these off my calendar, whether that's a person or whether that's a system or whatever it is, but you can start matching that calendar up. All right. I already went through the 2-week tracking and all that stuff. All right, so this is where I also said I create this accountability. I gamify my system to actually create accountability to myself. Because let me tell you something. You guys have a lot of things available to you right now. You've got great leadership in your office through your productivity coaches, through Mary Beth, to your team leader, to your OP. They would freak out in a good way and love in a good way if you walked into their office and said, I need your help. I need you to hold me accountable. I know this is what our culture is about, and I am so committed to this Ignite thing and what I picked up, and this is my calendar is important to me. Somebody in that leadership group either knows who's going to hold you accountable or they will hold you accountable. And there's probably nothing more exciting, at least I'm talking about from my perspective, there's nothing more exciting as a team leader that when I opened our office, that somebody would come in and want me to actually hold them accountable rather than me knocking on their door and bugging them. Are you doing a 411? You know, give me your 411 every week, you know, and then you don't do it anyway. I'd rather have somebody that wants that stuff. So in your creating your accountability, just know that you have people around you that want to see you succeed. We want every single agent to cap at Keller Williams. That's good for everybody. It strengthens your office. It increases profitability. It makes that business be there for you, right? So in being accountable, you know, put it out to the world. It's setting your goals, doing the key activities, the 20% stuff, measuring those results, evaluating the process, and then making adjustments. So as you go through and you're comparing your week to your perfect week, and you're seeing that you don't have enough green on there, and you know that the other distractions took you off, then first thing I always coach to was, what is yellow on my calendar that could be systematized or automated? Is there something available to take some of this stuff off, to systematize or automate it, right? And if I see a lot of contract stuff taking up my day because I got a contract on a house, or I got, here's a great one. When I see agents that get 20 offers on a property, they list a house, they get 20 offers, and they spend the next 4 hours processing all the data on all 20 offers to make sure everything's like in the spreadsheet and all this stuff so the seller can make a decision. Guys, if I get 20 offers on a house, I can take 17 of them, set them here with the top 3 that are netting the seller the most with the smoothest stuff. Out of 20 offers, I can pick 2, 3, 4, or even 5 of those. That's the only ones I need to really talk to my seller about. It's not that I don't show them the other 15. I say, we got 15 other offers. They're all netting you 20,000 less than these top 5 offers. And they have all kinds of different, you know, options. And one of them's cash and all that other stuff. We can come back to those if you want, but these were the ones that were netting you the most with another, there's another cash offer in here that beat out that other one by $40,000, right? So it's not that I'm avoiding the other 15 offers or 18 offers. I'm going over the 2 or 3. And worst case scenario, my system, guys, and I believe this is on the folder under Brad Korn's stuff. There's a templated net sheet. Do you remember if I had that on there from last time, Scott? There's like a template net sheet I have on there. Yeah, it's just an Excel spreadsheet that you plug in the sale price and you plug in the taxes and you plug in their payoff of their loan. So I can actually run that on all 20 offers and just have all 20 net sheets there. And we can go through the net sheets really quick, but I can process 20 offers on a listing in about 30 minutes because I'm going to run through and do all the net sheets, and I'm going to pull the 3 highest nets, looking at, again, your experience will tell you if one is paying with gold bars or something, I don't know, and your person likes gold, then I'm going to pull that one out of the bottom of the stack and put it to top and go, you got one guy that's paying you in gold bars, and I know you like gold bars. So, so you can use your experience there. But what I'm saying is it helps you process through everything easier. You don't have to sit there and plug all that stuff into a spreadsheet. I'm even going to go one step further. Say you got leverage and you got a person, you got a great admin person. The last thing I need to waste hourly dollar payroll rate on is them putting everything into a spreadsheet. Come on, they've got a 20% that generates 80% of your income as well. So you want them focused on their 20% to be stuff that's growing the business, not just keep them busy. We don't need to be kept busy. In fact, a lot of times that keep busy work is your minimum wage people that turn over constantly because it's horrible stuff that nobody wants to do. If you're lucky enough to find someone to do that, that's great. So just as you're being accountable, what can I systematize to free up time so that I can replace that time with more 20% stuff? A lot of times people, the best way for me to talk about systems is to relate it to hiring a person. If all of you can think of your business right now, and if I let you, if I gave you a blank check and said, hire your first assistant right now, you would be like, oh my gosh, yes. I like, seriously, I get really, like, I can have that person today, and you're just going to give them a whole bunch of stuff that you think is a waste of time, and their job is going to be really boring, right? If you created a system before you hired that person that could process that faster, and let's just say now it frees up a little bit more of your time, and you replace that time with getting more green dollar productive activities, then you would actually, the system would help you generate more income, which would pay for the assistant. And because the system's in place, when you bring the assistant in, you're going to get twice as much productivity out of them, which is going to free up your time even more to go get more green stuff, which is more money, which means that you can give them raises and they stay with you longer. So the systems take care of some of that monotonous, boring stuff. So that's why systems are the core. And when you have great systems that frees up your time before you bring somebody in, then it's going to make them more productive when they do come in, versus hiring somebody and then you got to train them for 2 weeks, and then you hope they remembered what you learned, and then they leave, and then you got to retrain the next person, and you're just caught in this never-ending time suck energy vampire, killing machine. And that, guys, if you didn't hear it, is 80% of the real estate businesses out there. They basically are hiring their brother-in-law who just got fired from his job because he doesn't work hard, and you think he was sent to you by the graces of God at the right time because you needed help. And that's not the person you need to be hiring in most cases. You want to hire somebody who's happy where they are, and if you have great systems, you'll make them more efficient, right? One other thing I like to talk about is this average thing. When you're accountable to everything, this was something that Diana Kokoska shared. And actually, do I need to, can you guys see that okay when it's real small, or should I bring it up on the full screen? I think if I stop sharing, I think you guys can put whoever's talking. I'm not sure how that works. It doesn't, we don't need to go too big, but this big bell curve right here. Oh, I'm going backwards. The big bell curve right here. This is where the average people are. Let's just picture this as the 80% of the buyer pool or agent pool, right? And this is where average is. So the average agent hangs out here, and you're in the 80% pool. As you start to get successful and you start pulling away from the average agent, by the way, the average agent in the 80% pool sells 4 houses a year, right? So as you start to pull away, they're going to be like, hey, come back. All your fun people in the office you love hanging out with, and they're going on tour, and they love the the networking and the party events, but they're not doing the lead generation activities, the green activities every day. They like you to stay here because you're fun. But as you come away, you start to feel like you're out on an island by yourself. There's fewer people out here. That's why that's called average, and this is above average. What's great, what's crazy is when I understood that as you get out here and you feel like you're actually doing the 2 hours of lead generation every day, and you're going on a listing appointment to 2 listing appointments a week, and you're creating CMAs for sale by owners, and you're dropping off signs that capture buyers' names and numbers, and you're doing all that stuff that they're not doing, and you feel like you're working all the time, that as you start to get more successful, on the other side of this bell curve is, say, the top 20%. So here's the next like 15%, or in this case, I put 17% of the 20% pool. That average group will actually pull you to them because they start sharing and helping. Oh, you're doing successful. You're doing great. We do this and that, right? Now, as you keep doing what they were doing and you created systems that made you more efficient, and you brought in an assistant and you got them more productive, you start leaving this group. And they're like, no, wait, we're already in the top 20%. We're successful. Come on, stay with us. As you leave, you get out on this island again. Now you're like 4 hours of lead generation. You're going on 2 to 3 listing appointments a day. You now hired a showing agent who's out showing 3 times a day. And as you get to that side, now you're in the top 3% and they pull you. And man, I'm telling you what, this group here, they figured out how to love life, enjoy life, and be profitable, be successful. Not that you're always looking at their bottom line, because there are a lot of top agents that have gotten there way too fast and they're not profitable. They've got more expenses going out than they've got coming in. Just because they're a top agent doesn't mean they're profitable. But I'm saying when you hang out with those people and you learn from each other and you create systems and you leverage and you grow your business through the 7 levels of the MREA, that's what the world is kind of like. And the people towards the top are really enjoying life. And that's where things really start to, your whole perspective will change. Yet you're always focused on the people that you're leading and your business and your leverage. And I know I'm way down the road for many of you. However, you need to know it's there and you need to know how to get there. And it's going to be lonely most of the time. The only time it's ever going to be fun and feel really cozy is when you're average, and that's called being comfortable. So get out of your comfort zone, stick to the accountability, share your goals, put it out to everyone. I mean, look at these names, guys, write these names down in this Ignite group right now. Open up the chat and see who the people are, copy and paste that into an email, send it to yourself, and then go Google them and find out if you haven't met them yet, or they're not in your office, they're in one of the other offices, find them. And you reach out and you say, hey, you're in the Ignite class. I want to be accountable. How about you, right? And whether they do or not, just say, man, that call today, here's the deal. I'm going to do this by the end of the year, and I want you to help hold me accountable. Do you mind doing that, right? I mean, you guys are all in Ignite together. So what are they going to say? Nah, I just didn't have anything to do for an hour. So I was just joining in to listen to Brad's voice for an hour. Why would you want to do that, right? I got to bring good content because I listen to myself and go, man, how does anybody listen to me for an hour? It's got to be good content, right? I got to bring you good stuff or else I can't keep you on the call. So anyway, plan your check-ins. How are you guys going to check in and make that date? So there's another one on there, 2 other forms on there. It's my top 3 ideas, my 3 implementable ideas, and then there's a top 5 ideas. Guys, you might even print those off and bring those to each class, because as you're taking your notes, if you actually take the book and you review it after the call, use the top 5 to get your 5 best ideas out of there, and maybe even for the whole week. So you got 3 calls in a week, go through all your notes and you get your top 5 best ideas for the week out of all of your notes. Then you take those at the end of the week and you take the top 3 implementation sheet. And what changes is the 5 ideas are just, what's the idea? Where was it in the session? And any notes that you had, right? But when the top 5 at the end of Ignite, you take all your top 5 sheets and you take the top 3 sheet and set it down next to them, and you pick your top 3 things that you are going to implement from this round of Ignite. and you put those on the top 3 sheet. What's different on that sheet is what is the item? When do I want to have it in place? Who do I need to help me get it done? And what are the other things that I need to know about making this happen? Get my top 3 on there. If you get number 1 implemented because you went through Ignite, and I mean, understand that by the time it filters through this process, these are 3 very like leveraged items. They're big items that are going to make big things happen. In fact, after a little football game last night with the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to say we're in the 4th quarter of this football game, right? What big play are you going to pull out between now and December 31st to win the game? Because the Chiefs didn't pull it out last night. They did not have a big play. It was a bad day for Kansas Cityans. But it's 4th quarter in the football game. You're down. And you may not be down. You might be hitting your goal. You might be comfortable. You might be whatever. But what I'm going to say is, what's the big play to like just push it over the top and win big for 2021 and start 2022 out strong? All right, let me check my time here. Oh, wow. Did we do good today or what? We're already at our recap and our ahas. Guys, again, part of the daily activity. I know we don't go over this over every call, like all the scripts and stuff. But during Ignite, when you're really pushing for that extra, 10 contacts added, 10 conversations a day, 10 handwritten notes, and 10 home previews per week. The reason you do this is to make you the specialist in real estate and to get your habits going in the right direction. So if you shoot for 10 and you hit 5, I'm telling you, you're going to have an amazing business. If you shoot for 5 and hit 1, or you miss a day, it's not going to do you any good. I mean, it's just going to take forever. In fact, nothing's consistent and predictable when you do that. I'm just getting to the survey, because I hopefully you guys are going in and clicking on this survey before we leave the room and just kind of putting in. Everybody's having different ahas and different like moments on every single session. And it's good to get this feedback just to hear what your biggest aha was. I just threw it into the chat there. Also, if you're on this call and you have not gotten a drip plan from me, it means you probably have not filled out the next link I'm going to give you, which is a way to get into my system. If you've already done it, you don't need to do it again. If you've gotten an email from me that's like tips or tricks or my 8x8 and 33 touch, then you're in. You don't need to do it again. But if you haven't gotten anything from me like that, then click on that link and just add in your name, your first name. It looks like you're filling out a form in my database. Yep, you are. Because when you click on that and you put in your information and you hit submit, you automatically start on a follow-up plan that I drip some ideas back out to you to help you like just see some of the actual drip plans that we put people on. All right. So any questions, any comments, anything that anybody wants to add, ask. I am yours for the next minute. Did you guys have a good class? Was this good? Are you glad you took this hour out? Yes, I saw a yes. I see some heads nodding. Yep. I see somebody running to the office to get started right now on their perfect week. All right, guys, I love spending this time with you. Just know this is for you. So if you guys review the booklet before our call, you come to the call, it might spur even some more activity or questions from you guys, because this is for you, not just for me. I know all this stuff and I do this stuff in my business every single day. So bring your real world challenges. And some of the best stuff we've had on these calls are from you guys. But also know that I'm available for you anytime outside the call as well. So, all right, guys, that is our call for today. We'll see you on Wednesday. Make sure you adjust your calendars to November 1st. We're going to roll one day longer than we had planned. Because masterminds came up and it was amazing. So I hope you guys got like that as well. So November 1st will be our last session. All right. See you all later.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, you betcha, bud.